Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. As you can see, it's covered in blood. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. So this is the costume. There certainly is evidence of a back spray of blood on this. This piece directly links my affair to the crime, sir. I see. The court accepts it as evidence. Alright, Mr. Wright.
Maya's fingerprints on both murder weapons and blood spatters on her clothes. Could this situation get any worse? What's wrong? You seem to be at a loss. I think this is the last piece of testimony the prosecution should have to offer. Feel free to suck off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Pheonix, right? Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing. Oh dear.
Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence.
Why didn't you say so in your testimony earlier?
You're kinda scary today, you know, pal. Come now, Mr. Wright. There's no need for that kind of attitude in my court. Alright, just please stop glaring at me like that. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of crime.
Maya's costume?
Yeah, she was wearing this when we arrested her.
Maya, she's wearing her channeling costume today too. Is she not allowed to wear anything else?
As you can see, it's covered in blood.
There's blood on the costume.
Lab results show that it was the victim's blood. So there's blood from the victim on the defendant's clothes.
Definitely not good. So, were there any other clues you could glean from this piece of evidence?
Well...
If you must change the topic, since a good detective here must testify again. But too bad, not enough time. Let's move on.
Yes, Miss Von Karma is perfectly correct.
Grrr, not even the judge is on our side. If I bite off more than I can chew here, what should I do? Press further. Why is Miss Von Karma suddenly putting up resistance? There must be a reason as to why she suddenly threw out an objection like that. There must be something about this costume. I just have to look harder.
Mr. Wright, Miss Von Karma's logic is perfect. There is no way for you to poke a hole in it.
Arg! Looks like my time is up. So about the costume, there's one little thing. Your Honor, actually, there's something very wrong with this piece of evidence.
What? What are you talking about, pal? What is this problem you are talking about?
I've come this far. There's no turning back now. The problem I have with this piece of evidence is here. Right about here. I asked the court to please take a look at the sleeve of the costume.
The sleeve? There's a tiny hole here.
A hole? But that wasn't in the report.
Hold on. What's this around the hole? It smells faintly of gunpowder.
Gunpowder?
No one ever told me. A hole that smells of gunpowder.
Looks like I've found the hole I was looking for. Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that it must be a bullet hole.
Order! This is a very grave matter. It's best we correct the court record first before anything else.
Sorry about that. I guess we messed up, sir. Is she actually smiling? What else is she hiding? Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of the evidence still holds. Continue with your testimony. That, just now, was a fluke, nothing more. Whoa, What? How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight.
While I agree it is a mistake on the part of the police, what Prosecutor Von Karma has said is true. The evidence still stands. If you do not find a more definitive proof with the evidence, then...
No way!
Detective Gumshoe, please continue with your testimony.
Yes, sir. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. He wasn't fighting back? How do you know if he was or wasn't?
You could find no evidence that the victim put up any sort of struggle, pal. So did the murderer have a fight with the victim or not? Depending on this, the circumstances around this murder changed drastically.
Ugh, we're in real trouble now. If only I had something to prove that the victim did fight back. That Von Karma, she thinks she can decide the verdict with this testimony alone. Well, I'll find a critical contradiction somewhere, somehow, and then I'll have her. Fuck. It's gotta be this, right? We already established that there was a bullet hole in the costume, and there's no way that Maya shot her own sleeve, therefore, the victim did fight back. Detective Dick Gumshoe?
Yes? Having you call me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling.
You said that my client killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back?
Yeah, I did.
Then what, may I ask, is the bullet hole you police overlooked supposed to mean?
What does it mean?
I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is this what it means to not fight back?
You're right. It seems you're correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then it would change everything.
Alright, the wind seems to be shifting. Huh. What is with that? Are you finished yet, laugh? Are you finished yet, Mr. Pheonix, right?
Miss Von Karma?
It seems to me that my affair was shot at by the victim. However, that is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea.
That is correct.
But I'm sure you remember, Your Honor, what the defense clearly said. They rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty.
Now that you... Why, that's right.
Which means the defense has yet to prove anything at all. No!
Yes, that's true.
Furthermore, just the fact that there's a bullet hole in the costume is not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense.
Huh? How so?
Yeah! Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information we acquired added in, of course.
Huh? You mean by myself?
All by myself.
You want me to put together a scenario all by myself? Yes, sir. Right away, sir. During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. The defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. The scenario you put together does make sense. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Wright?
On the surface, it does seem to make sense. However, I won't give up that easily.
Please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest.
There is quite a difference in height between Dr. Gray and the defendant. Add in body strength, and it seems unlikely the defendant could have stabbed the victim.
Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess...
You think you can get away with such flimsy reasoning? Mr. Pheonix, right? My affair was in the middle of channeling, was she not? When channeling with the current channeling technique, the medium physically changes. With the nurse's build, the defendant could have easily been a match for the doctor. I don't believe it. She even studied up on the Korean channeling technique. Like I said before, I am perfect.
About what you were talking about, I didn't quite get it. Never mind, let's continue with the testimony. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir.
So you were stabbed, but the stab wound didn't kill him.
But if you think about the blood loss, he was probably hurt pretty bad.
How badly hurt would you say he was?
Actually, I went to get blood the other day, and afterward I felt a little lightheaded and dizzy. I guess the damage was maybe about 10 times the dizziness. Ah!
Sorry.
While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun.
Where in the world did that pistol come from?
It looks like the victim, Dr. Gray, has specifically bought it for that day.
But a handgun?
He got it off the black market about 2 days before the murder.
Why did Dr. Gray bring a gun? Was he taking precautions against something?
The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed.
So you're saying that the bullet hole in this costume was made then?
Sorry, pal, but yeah, that's what I think. The two of them were already fighting when a shot was fired.
Maya, I'm really glad you weren't hurt.
The defender then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it.
Maya has never fired a gun before in her life.
The victim had already taken off the safety. With the safety off, even an amateur like you can fire it just by pulling the trigger.
Even me? I wonder. Now do you understand? Von Kam's logic is perfect. His testimony certainly makes us look very bad. But there's gotta be a contradiction in there somewhere. And uncovering it is gonna uncover the truth. I can feel it.
Alright.
Yeah, I think... Hold on, let's see. What does it say? She was wearing... Oh! Yeah, he didn't miss. What are you talking about? How do you explain this, then? Missing the tiny hole in this costume will be the prosecution's undoing.
Eh? What do you mean?
This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then where is the gunpowder burn on this costume?
Gunpowder burn?
This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole.
Oh!
But there's not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume. Yeah, that too. That's what I meant.
That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean?
It means that when the shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other. I'm disappointed with Mr. Pheonix, right? You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? With wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone can explain anything away. Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking. Let's see. In the middle of the fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How was that? As if that was even possible. According to testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after that. Well, then... that's right. The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and himself. And then, while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took his shot. There, that should satisfy even you.
That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright?
Must be careful. I can't afford to make a mistake here. Concentrate and think. No. There's a fatal flaw here in her argument, Your Honor.
Fatal? Flaw?
Yo! Very interesting. I would love to see where this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation. There has to be a snag in her explanation somewhere. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot. There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. Well, it's gotta be this, right? It has a hole as well. This is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic.
What is that? A folding screen?
I would like to point the court's attention to the hole in this folding screen. Ah! It looks like you already know what I'm talking about.
Who? Where? What? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please.
Are these two really that clueless? The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through at a height of approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means when the shot was fired, the defendant, was not getting ready to strike, but actually was squatting along to the ground.
Order! This changes everything!
Please look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot, and the bullet hit this folding screen. It hit at this location, about 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was in this area. Behind the folding screen? Let's try that one. Here!
Behind the folding screen?
Ack! The victim is the attacker were fighting, was he not? Then what would the attacker be doing all the way back there? Besides which, if the attacker was behind the folding screen, then how could the victim even know where to shoot? It's obviously impossible. Yeah, I guess so.
Mr. Wright!
Boy, did I just screw up royally. What's done is done. For now, I should focus on where Maya was at the time of the crime. At this time, the defendant was in this area. Okay. In front of the folding screen. She was standing here, near the folding screen. Wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole. But how can you gauge the distance from that? Isn't it possible the defendant was standing much closer to the victim? That's impossible. But why? You of all people should know the answer to that question, Miss Von Karma. If she were shot from somewhere closer, there would be gunpowder burns present. However, there is nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume. Curse you, Mr. Pheonix Wright, you!
I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing a ways from the victim when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation?
It changes everything. Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. Prosecution has claimed the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with the knife would be ideal. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time? Squatting all the way by the folding screen? Exactly. If Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike?
Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense.
Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason. Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Oof! Alright, with this, the rest of the trial should be in the... blast radius of disaster! You are such a smart man, Mr. Pheonix, right? Just seeing that you've been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now I know why Papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me. Oh, of all the things to inherit, what did it have to be that smarmy smile? Detective? How dare you damage my perfect logic? How is it all my fault? You can start repairing your standing there by removing that 3-strand goatee. Oh, and rest assured your punishment will come later. Punishment? Well then, Your Honor, I think I've had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call in the next witness. Next witness? It's gotta be Lotta.
Very well. The court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness. To be continued.
Phew, that was a close one. I know you were giving your all I know you were giving your all to defend me, but I could feel the death penalty hanging in the air. I felt like I was pretty close to dying myself.
But you were wonderful out there. You listened carefully, made theories, and tricked everyone into believing you.
Thanks. Wait, tricked?
That must be the lawyer's secret technique, right?
By the way, is the next witness who I think it is? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Lotta Hart. Oh, guess there's no escaping her, huh? Remember, Nick, you promised you'd save me. If you lose, me and my sis Ghost will come after you and haunt you.
Your sister? Are you talking about Mystic Mia?
Yeah, do you remember her, Pearly? My sister was a super good lawyer. She was also Nick's teacher.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Alright.
Court will now reconvene. Now, the first order of...
Ow! I don't want to hear it, old man. After I call my victim, sit there quietly and watch like a good little boy.
Yes, sir!
Bring in the photographer who witnessed the channeling. Witness, your name and occupation, if you please. Hey, Pheonix, how you doing? Just fine. Sorry about this. Didn't exactly have a choice, you know? Nothing personal. Yowza! Name and occupation. I declare, what in tarnation? Hey, Judge, this here is a violence against myself fair.
That's fine.
That's fine. That ain't fine. That's whip. Ah! There's no need for foolish outcries from foolishly foolish fools. Just hurry up and testify about what happened on the day of the murder. I haven't even got to say my name and job yet. My name's Lotta Hart, paranormal photographer, and I'm here to testify.
Now, let's all be one big happy family, okay?
Fucking hell. Alright, Doc, and then Venom went into the challenge chamber. We were waiting out that door, and then bang! We heard this gunshot. Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down, and we rushed into the room. Inside was a dead victim and the defendant, waving a pistol around. I swear, other than those two, there was no one else in the room.
And did you take a picture of the scene right after the murder took place?
Reckon course. Eh? Excuse me? Reckon course. It's short for, you reckon? Of course I did. Ah! Does it look like I care? Just hurry up and show your picture to the court. The moment of truth. What will be in that picture? Let's see here. This here is a picture.
It would certainly seem that only the defendant and the victim were in that room.
Are you ready, Mr. Pheonix, right? I will clear all doubt about Maya through this cross-examination. Just watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Ooh, watch me. Watch me. Ooh. Alright. Only the doc and the defendant went into the challenge chamber. Was it really only those two that went in? What are you blabbering about? You visit too, were you not? Ark! Why don't you answer that question yourself? Was it really just the two of them? Yes, Dr. Gray and Maya were the only two that went to the room.
Hold on! We can't have the defense testifying against his own client.
Anyway, folks, only the two of them were in the challenge chamber here. But you knew that from the very beginning, didn't you? Witness, continue. We were waiting outside the door and then bang, we hear this gunshot. Was it really a gunshot? What? Are you insane? You must have heard it as well. Ark! Why don't you testify if it's a court, Mr. Pheonix, right? Was it really a gunshot? Yes, I think it was something that sounded like a gunshot.
And why are we here listening to the defense testify?
And the world becomes just a little crueler. I heard a gunshot a long time ago, so I know. I tell you that was a gunshot I heard. Now, this is where the story heats up. Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down and we rushed into the room. So let me get this straight. This Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down? Honestly, Mr. Pheonix, right? Why don't you tell us what happens then? Yes, Miss Von Karma. I broke the door down, sorry. Why does this feel like an inquisition? No need for apologizing, that was great. You're a real man.
Oh, really? That's something I would have liked to see.
The judge is smiling rather openly. I'll take that as a good sign. And what did you see once you broke in? Inside was a dead victim and a defendant waving a pistol around. Are you sure it was a defendant, Maya Fey? Sure, I'm sure. Lana seems awful confident in her testimony. Lana, please think back to that day one more time. What you getting at? Remember what you said when we broke into the room? I was murdered. Lara, at a time like this, damn right it's a privilege snapping up shots. But anyway, what's going on here? This gal, is she Maya? When you saw the murder at that time, you couldn't even tell if it was Maya Fey or not, am I correct? Well, you see...
Order, Miss Hart. You are here to present accurate testimony.
Yeah, sorry. Good. This shifts things back to my side. For a defense lawyer, your defense is terribly lacking, Mr. Pheonix, right? Fitness, think back to when those two entered the channeling chamber. When they entered, one of those people that entered the chamber was Maya Fey, correct? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Maya that went in.
It looks like we've come to a collective conclusion. The person in this picture is most certainly Maya Fey.
Exactly. Rats! And I'm trapped like one, again. I swear, other than those two, there was no one else in the room. Are you absolutely certain of that? Sure I am. But that old witch chased out of the room, so... Old witch? Does she mean Morgan Fey? But there was no one else in there, and you know it. The channeling chamber was very dark, almost pitch black. Was there really no one else in there? What about... behind the folding screen? Here we go. What about behind the folding screen? Did you check back there? Rack given. Huh? What in the... Rack given, you know? You reckon? That's a given. I took me a good look at the room once. There's no way it was hanging by the full screen.
If I may have a word with you, Miss Hart.
What? You got a problem?
Rick Given, I'm having a difficulty in understanding you. If you would stop saying such things as Rick...
Now then, Mr. Pheonix, right? Do you see a problem with the testimonial, don't you? Just as I thought, there's nothing wrong with her testimony. I was with her, so I know she's telling the truth.
Enough! It seems that there are no issues with Miss Hart's testimony.
At the time of the crime, only two people were in the channeling chamber. The victim, Dr. Turner Gray, and the defendant, Maya Fey.
That rhymed. The face of the defendant cannot be verified in this picture. However, if we think about the circumstances, it would have to be the defendant.
What am I going to do if I just let this go?
What is it, Mr. Wright? You look as if you have something to say.
Well, that's probably because I do. If I make one wrong move, I'm gonna have the judge against me. Is there anything I can present that would prove it's not Maya in this photo? No. I can't.
Well, Mr. Wright?
Nothing, Your Honor. That's very smart of you, Mr. Pheonix, right? You really should give up trying to prove this is not my affair. I didn't say anything about giving up. I just don't have the right piece of evidence to prove my argument.
That's enough.
Is this it? Is this all I could do?
I think it's quite obvious to this court that a verdict of not guilty is not possible.
I told you. Totally 100% impossible.
Ms. Ronkarma, do you have any further questions for this witness?
Having established the defendant's guilt, further questioning won't be needed.
What about the defense? No further questions, I presume?
I couldn't protect Maya. The defense... Pheonix. Pheonix, you can't make that kind of face. A lawyer is someone who smiles, no matter how bad it gets. Mia? I guess I made it just in time, wouldn't you say?
Pearls!
Her clothes are a bit small. Anyway, what are you waiting for, Pheonix? Let's go!
But how? He's already taken every advantage!
The advantage is still in your hand. Think carefully one more time about what you saw in the channeling chamber. Do you remember what you told me yesterday? Oh god, here we go again.
Dr. Gray?
I was murdered.
What?
Lara, at a time like this, etc. You see, there's one final piece to this puzzle. Mia? Question Lara one more time, Pheonix. I don't know if she's doing it unconsciously or on purpose, but she's not testifying truthfully.
Now then, this court would like to end the cross-examination period.
Please wait, Your Honor. The defense would like to request that the witness testify one more time.
Overruled. I'm afraid you're too late, Mr. Wright. The cross-examination has already ended. Furthermore, any unrelated—
It's fine. I'll allow another testimony. Von Karma's case is perfect. Absolutely flawless. And what better time than this for you to see that?
But I mean, I have some place I must go after this. Alright, I'll allow it. Miss Hart, hurry and give us another testimony.
Well, heck, what am I supposed to talk about? Please tell us once more what happened when you burst into that channeling chamber. Okay, you got it. See, you got through to the judge somehow, right? Well, actually, it was Von Karma's whip that got through to him. Pretty clean, too.